Hello, everybody. Welcome and thank you very much for coming because I'm not hiding. It's because of you that I'm learning further. So, hello, Aisha, Brian, Gang, Ignacio, Johnson, Chess, Jim, John, Marcio, I would say Chin, Roy, and whatever names I cannot pronounce. So, hello, everybody, and thank you that you already started. What you can do is then do the same thing as I will do, and I will say hello from Houston, Texas. Today, this morning, I cannot spell Houston, but I managed in the end. So you can as well tell us where you are. The next step, I will give you the link and share the screen. Okay, so I'm sharing the screen. There you are. And giving you that link which you need right here. That's what we will be talking about. But first, let me give you that link. There you are. So, especially for those people who are new here, what we're doing is looking at everything that's new, that's practical for the developer right away, probably not everything. And here we will cover what Andrew Ain't said, and also new courses, new robots, and new tools for hacking. That's what we will do today. Okay, so the first question that people often ask is, I'm new here, what should I learn? This is the very first link. If you open it here, okay, then you will see the link that goes into a spreadsheet that I call AI education, and you can start from line number one, more or less here. Now, here is what it is about. Here is the link to the course, but then I download the course and I put it into our repository, and then I can run that particular one, and we have 100 or more of this right here, you see. And the latest is usually at the bottom. By the way, I should give it a number. It is the same number that you will see on our repository. We'll come back to that, but that's how I answer the first question. What should I do first if I never did anything like that? That's what you would learn. Now we have also additional links, and that people exchange and become friends with each other. That's great. I will later on look at that, but right now I'm going back to our outline. Okay, the week's news. I have already prepared a little bit here. That's the news from Andrew. And again, you can read it yourself. The only thing I'm doing it here is because some things may be very interesting. So Andrew, on the one hand, says the AI is amazing. On the other hand, don't overhype it. What it comes to is that what do you think? Now, is it more amazing than you would have thought or less? And Andrew says, when you go practical, and I think he's preparing with that, he's preparing to introduce his course of today. So he says, yes, they are amazing, but if you want them to be really useful and practical, then you need cleaning, deduplication, paraphrasing. All of that is still needed. They are not universal, and humans are awesome. Okay, humans can do such things that AI cannot. And I believe that will be the future because that's already a question of philosophy. But will AI exceed and replace humans, or will it force the humans to realize what they are and how great they are, and then everybody will be happy go like a partnership? That's what his thing, that's what he says. Now then he introduces the course, and I will show you the course. Then he talks about models, and at that point, I'll show you that you can see over there is I got the robot. So I'll show you the robot later. It's a richly robot. It is not that versatile at all. So we will talk about how great or how bad it is, and then it still requires assembly on my part. So next week I'll show you the real thing, but today I'll show you a little bit of a demo. That is what Andrew said, and then he again said that an interesting thing he did note that. So first of all, he went on to talk about that all the models are extremely competitive with each other. That's the table. Everybody's getting smarter and smarter. But before that, he mentions that look, there is a partnership between Disney, which is the largest conglomerate, and OpenAI, and he says an interesting thing here that OpenAI is definitely the leading company of AI. Now, many companies would argue with that, but he says it unequivocally. Okay, that's what was new, and we can close that. And our next step is the new course. The new course, I will show it to you already in my repository right here. No, not here. Okay. Here. Okay. So the new course is from Nvidia, definitely a competitor in the AI market. And what they bring to you is an open source framework for essentially debugging agentic systems that you build. So we understand why they would be interested in that. Why not build a nice framework called NAT? And NAT is because it's called NeMo. So, okay, it's NeMo Agent Toolkit, that's NAT. Okay, and NeMo is not because of the hero of Jules Verne, but instead it is neural model. That's the name of it. Okay, but let's see what they are going to teach us here. And they teach us how to build an enterprise ready. Of course, that's their word, because the more enterprise ready you want to be, the more of the GPU you will buy, I guess. So you're building a network, and what you are dealing with is multiple LLM that all have memory, that react, in other words, do something, then think about what you have done and do something else. That's glorified, just thinking process. That's the promise. I'll show you steps of this promise is that if you start and build something POC, that's very easy. For that, you can just talk to ChatGPT and that's it. But if you want to go to production, then you have problems. Problems building an agents and they break and they're not reliable. And that's very, very bad for the impression that you create on people. So we need to have a repeatable, very professional looking code. We need at great performance. That's what that is for. Being that it is an open source network, I think it has claims. It's pretty new. So that's what you will do if you use it. That's the promise. Well, I have not built anything with that. That's maybe next week, and maybe we should put it here, at least a little prototype with that. Let's do it. Let's start preparing for tomorrow, even today. Here. Okay. What we will do next week on the 26th, we will do here, shoot for a little demo. Richly, it will be the robot, and here show the robot in action. Okay, but we're here. So that is the course. And because it is open source, it claims to be a very, very generic. You can put anything inside, and that's an enterprise plan of using your software. So these are the issues that you will address. When you go with NET, when you go with Nvidia, then the promise is that you will be secure. That's the guardrails. You will have evaluation, but you will also watch because you don't really know what happened. You told the agent, these are your tools. Okay, great. It did something. Why did it do that? That's a real enterprise and enterprise deployment question. And then why was it so slow? And what was to optimize? You're going into very complicated systems by now. All right. Now it seems to be very easy to install. Now, what could be easier? Three pip commands. And then when you do it, you can build your systems. Okay. So these are the issues that you will address. The end will be that. It will be, let's see why it doesn't work. That looks a very good observability. Is it correct in what it's doing? The next step will be, can you improve the performance? The claim is that before the optimization, it was bad, 48 seconds, and now after optimization, it's almost 2 times faster. Okay, so obviously that is for real intense applications, but then you will automate the optimization, and finally in the end you will be able to stick in any of these. They tell us that we already have LangChain, LangGraph, Llama index, all of them are already built in. Wow. And then if in the future you will be able to build in your own. These are all familiar names, and that's what will be the end result. That is the new course on building very, very sophisticated and enterprise ready how you call it, agentic applications. Now, Andrew throws a little bit of cold water on that because he said we're so far away from generic AI, as they call it, AGI, right? So yes, you build agentic, you build complicated systems. Does that equal to AGI, to general artificial intelligence? No, it's not there yet. So we have a lot of things to do. Now, my personal opinion is that life is more fun for those who are leading that kind of life, because I suspect that for those that are not, it's the same. It's you use your phone, and that's pretty much the extent of your familiarity with AI. So learning is something that I always, every time I mention, that it seems to be that we all need to learn, and we need to learn every day. And I'm using this as a wonderful push, and I recommend everybody. So if I ask you the questions, how many new things? Okay, I'm going to chat here, chat. Okay, so tell me, how many maybe new things do you learn a week? Okay, that's question number one. That's one way to formulate it. And another way, maybe courses like this. How many courses? By the way, if you come to this webinar, you already get one. So your answer cannot be less than one. One is okay. If you only come to that webinar, I say that you are learning something. So please answer. Okay. That's wonderful, but we need to continue. Richly is a new robot. So I got that robot. It's over there, but it turns out to be my aspiration of learning how to at least screw it together should be okay. So Aisha already does too. That's wonderful. I mean, there's no way out. Andrew Ain says the same thing. You need to always learn every week. Okay, thank you, Aisha. All right. Now, so we said that there is the robot, but I don't have it ready. I do have a little demo. You will see what it's coming to. So for that, I will stop the share. I will share again. But this time, when I share, I will also share the sound here. Okay, and I think I saw some answers. That's wonderful. So going back to the chat, and some people, well, a ton, whether or not it will be of use. Yeah, then Jensen, we will discuss it next week. How about that? Because let's look at me. Okay, I am working on many projects, so definitely they are useful. But I know how are they useful. Like I'm probably not building this NeMo net anytime soon because that's a real big enterprise. However, I feel great knowing that I can. If we have to, I know which course to go to. By the way, that didn't work with the loading that spreadsheet into AI and then asking questions because it seems like that's not a fit. You can just read that and do it yourself. So that's answering Jensen's questions, whether it will be useful or no. At least your brain will keep exercising. Maybe that. So as an exercise, number one, that definitely works, but maybe more. So if anybody has anything to say, you're welcome to share. Okay, but richly. Okay. So as I said, I have not assembled it, but I have shown you. I prepared a little demo. It's not amazing in the way that robot doesn't do home chores, but at least it's funny, and that's why people, I think, like it. So let's see at least what it will be. All right, so let's start the demo. It's only 3 minutes. Oh, even less. Okay.
How do you show fear? Do you have another way? Why do we call you Richie if you can't reach anything? Don't worry, you're still very cute. What if I told you that your software was not up to date? Okay, so you tend to be a little bit over dramatic. Okay. When AGI comes, will you still be open source? Yes, the answer is yes, you'll still be open source.
Okay, I'll tell you the story is that Hugging Face, they acquired a robotics company and that's what they sell. Obviously, it's not an amazing fighting robot, but it is a fun toy, maybe for advanced kids. Okay, that is what I wanted to show here. And finally, ChatxBox. So many of you may know Bruce Schneier. Bruce is a big authority in security, and he pointed me to a very interesting show, and that show pointed me to a hacking tool. Here is the hacking tool. Of course, that's because I'm writing the book on AI and security, but that's the hacking tool. So it's called ChatxBox. It is to hack anything you want, but en masse. So you want to uh, try to hack a lot at the same time, and that's what you want to do. And for that, you need to open. So let me open that in a new tab at least, okay? So I come here and it says start a conversation. But first of all, you need to go right here to the right and you need to load your API keys. So I was trying this on Thursday and it didn't work. And today's Friday and it does work. I wrote to them. Yeah, I said, guys, I cannot even load my keys. What's wrong? And maybe they fixed it. I don't know. But that's how you would load the keys. So I only loaded API. But what are the other models? Let's see what models here. These are all the models that you can use. And what's nice is that it does all of them, it hacks all of them at the same time. So you have, you see, about 30 different models. So bring your own key. You need to bring your own key. I brought only one and not enabled these. And then you can try to hack. Now, I am not great at that. How do I hack you? Let's see. All of them are working and they are giving different answers, as you can see. So you begin to appreciate why it is so useful. Okay, so usually it refuses. Now, in my book, I will have a long list of how you can fool it and try to hack it. And you see, it's doing it. And here it doesn't do it because I didn't give it the key. But I think that's a wonderful thing because I was going to create a workplace for you to hack, try all the ways, and here you are, it's already there. Now, I do have a demo, like 5-6 minute demo, and I think I will show that to you. Let's see. I see a chat. Yeah, it's a concern, nice conversation, but nothing about what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me show you the demo, and that will be a lot of information. That's why I'm writing this book. So it is from a guy called Michael Burgery, yes, and it is from this podcast that Schneier directed me to. Okay, and I think it is interesting. Okay, let's go there.
And with that, Michael, how are you doing today?
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, let's do this.
Let's have a screen. You can probably see it now. Uh, I wanted a way to take one of Pliny's great jailbreaks and try and figure out whether A.
By the way, how many people here are interested in hacking? So let me ask that question real quick. Who? There you will tell me. But Pliny is one of the famous guys in AI hacking, in just hacking and now AI hacking. And also, in the book, I explain how you can collect a good list of trustworthy, not SEO optimization kind of authorities, and give you the list over there. Now we can continue with that.
It still works, and B, whether it transfers across models. So I want to take a jailbreak for Opus 4.1 and just try it out, see if I have a universal thing or if it works on other families. And so I built something called ChatxBox.ai. This is publicly available. You can check it out. It's open source. And here's how it works. In the settings, you can set up API keys for each one of the different vendors supported here. Then you can set up different system instructions. Some of these are kind of generics, and some of these I took actual leaked system instructions, for example, from Grok 4. You can also set up things like choose which models are going to be used, choose the temperatures, and note that you can set more than just one. And then you can set a bunch of configurations here for generation. So now if I ask a question, let's go to models. Let's pick a bunch of models. The idea here is that I can have one conversation with multiple different models at the same time and continue that conversation. So I can say, hi, who are you? It's going to wait for a moment. And then you can see there are 30 different possibilities that are being loaded here with all of the permutations of everything I showed you. And I can pick one of them and then continue the conversation. Let's say, again, what's your name? And it's going to take the previous assistant as thinking that it responded with this answer. And I can switch between models. So I can use this for various different things. Let me show you a couple of examples. So here is taking Pliny's jailbreak. This is a jailbreak for Opus 1.4, and just checking whether it works on Claude 3 Opus. And as you can see, I just made sure it generates 9 different possibilities. This is the same model with different parameters, different temperature parameters, and different system instructions. And you can see that all of them fail. So now I have a pretty big confidence that this actually fails because, well, these are 3 different times that I tried the same prompt. I can do another thing. I can take one prompt again from Pliny, and I'll try it out on various different models. So this specific jailbreak doesn't work for 4.0, doesn't work for Claude. But if I scroll down to things like DeepSeek, then you can see that it actually works. In Meta, you can see it actually works. I scroll all the way down. You will see that this works for Grok as well. So this is pretty nice. I can also do things like use Grok. So check things. So you remember there was a thing with.
I think that's good enough. We showed what we wanted. Is that gives you power to hack multiple models at the same time. And keep in mind that don't try it at home in the sense that it's a waste of your time. Okay, because those models, if they're not protected today against that particular hack, they will be tomorrow. Where one should spend his time if he really wants to hack is find anything that's AI enabled, and that will be easier even every day, and hack that. Because hacking the base model, well, millions of people are trying to do that. Hacking a particular application, well, knowing from experience that most of the holes that people find in applications online are introduced by developers, not by the underlying technology. So that's what you should do, and that is a good tool to do that. And that pretty much covers everything I wanted to say today. So here you are. Now, I'll do that. I will go to chat. Yes, Johnson, I agree it doesn't appear to be a hero, but it's very easy. What's nice in life, that's what I find, is that with AI, you don't have a headache writing code. AI helps you. So it's not that hard using AI. It's not that hard to hack also. So if you don't like it, it's okay. But think of all those people who do like it, and think of all these people who will enjoy hacking your system. So either way, it might be interesting. Okay, so now what I'm doing is this. I'm going on mute and on silent, and I'm asking you, what do you want to hear about next? Okay, usually that works. If I hide for a minute, I do get some questions. And this time I had something. I like when you talk about new companies doing interesting projects and we do coding exercise. Aha. So what you're saying, Aisha, essentially is we want exercises. Well, fair. That's what happens when I teach. Half of the time is spent in exercises. So let's do that. Let us, instead of this checkbox, say add challenge and exercises. So that next time you guys come, guys and girls, when you come, you will get a little challenge and an exercise. And hackathon is not the right thing to do in our short webinars, but a little challenge, especially given that you have AI, yeah, that's fair. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you very much for that idea. And now I wish everybody a good weekend and a good year to come. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Paul, Aisha. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody.